toxic behaviors, the need to be right. It's Grateful Monday, and we all scream for ice cream.
Welcome to the Hopefulist, a daily talk show hosted by veteran broadcaster Wendy McClure. Join Wendy each day as she shares her life lessons that transformed her from perpetual pessimist to the ultimate hopefulist. The perfect morning show to get you caught up on the day's top stories while sharing insights that will lead to positive transformation and bring out the hopefulist in you. For more inspiration, visit hopefulist.com. And now, here's your host and hopefulist, Wendy McClure.
Hello and welcome to a brand new week. It's Monday, July 20th, 2020. Day 283 of Gotta Get on Ellen. 9 more days until my speech. Oh, I'm coming along, people. Not as fast as I had hoped, but I've got a week and a half. I've got 2 days until my practice run. Probably going to be a little raw. That's okay. That's what practice runs are for, right? So I am gearing up and getting ready for the big day. Man, it's hot outside. Have you guys been outside? Whew. Here at the Jersey Shore, you walk out that front door, and it's like you're walking into a cup of hot minestrone with the noodles and everything. And then when you go back in the house, I'm literally freezing because the change in temperature is so drastic. Man, today they're saying it's going to be the worst. We've had a bit of a heat wave the last couple of days. Today is going to be the worst, they're saying. Not just an excessive heat watch. We are in a warning, people. So if you can stay inside today, just stay inside. Joe and I, we braved it out the last couple of days. Once the shade hits the deck, it really wasn't awful. You know, if you're not in the sun, it's not so terrible. Probably will be today. Today, I really do not plan on spending much time outside. Unless my neighbors want to, go out on the boat and go find a place to float somewhere in the water. Then maybe I'll make an exception. I actually have a lot to do today, so really should be working all day. And I'm tired. Today I'm tired. I very rarely wake up exhausted. I woke up exhausted today, and I can't shake it. Like, even if I do wake up really tired, usually, once I get into my groove and I start doing things, I kind of perk up a little bit. No, not feeling it today. Guess I just didn't get enough sleep. I see a nap in my future. I know that's nothing unusual, but probably a little earlier than usual. Feeling the need to nap. It's okay. It's allowed. I make the rules. I'm my own boss. And Tucker and I love our naps. Oh, it is Grateful Monday. Have you not been to a Grateful Monday here on the Hopefulist before? Well, this is the time that I go over some of my own personal entries in my own personal gratitude journal to show how easy it is to write down just a few things a day and how much it enhances and betters and changes your life. Some of the things I was grateful for this week, I had a pampered chef party. You probably heard me talking about it. It was a lot of fun and broke a record for the most sales for my consultant. So I'm pretty proud of that. Got a ton of stuff discounted, a lot of it free, that is going to be making their way to our house. They're really, really backed up because of COVID-19. And they sent me an email letting me know that the reason that they're taking so long to put orders together is because of the whole process of how they keep sanitizing everything over and over again and how long the process takes. And that's why they're so backed up. It's looking like maybe about 2 months before I get my stuff. 2 months. Said I'm going to get my, which I'm so excited about, my kernel cutter just in time for corn in the cob season to be over. It'll keep, right? It'll keep. So I received a video text from my cousin Jim, who was trying to pump me up when I was talking about Friday about being afraid to do my speech and how I've been letting my fear stop me from preparing. And he was listening to the podcast and took a little break to video himself giving me a pep talk, which was really cool. I really did appreciate that. And he is just so funny. I went out on a kayak ride with my neighbor, Mike, from across the street. Now, the interesting part about this is I wrote that down this morning because I usually do my journal first thing in the morning and I go over the past 24 hours. Yesterday was so jam-packed. We did so much because the other thing that I wrote down is we went out to breakfast. We have not gone out to breakfast way before the quarantine even started because it's just not. We used to go out to breakfast all the time, and I think the difference is here. When we moved here, I discovered Bagels and Beyond. I love their bagels. I just love it. So I just get bagels all the time. So we have bagels for breakfast. Joe whip up some eggs, or we'll just have, bagels with butter, what have you. So we really don't go out to eat that much. So we went out to eat. Went out to eat at 7. And then right after that, I went for a kayak ride with Mike from across the street. Then I came back. Joe and I took a nap. I did some laundry. I was reading my book outside. We were hanging out, listening to some music. Our neighbors were away for the week. They came back home, hanging out with them. And it was a jam-packed day. So what I thought was interesting is when I was thinking of things to write down, the kayak ride popped into my head, and I had almost forgotten about it. Like, there were so many things that went on yesterday as the kayak ride. I have people that had laughed at me in the past. They're like, you call it a kayak ride. It's just kayaking. Well, okay, when I went kayaking with my neighbor, I just like calling it a kayak ride. I don't know. You know what I mean when I say it, right? It's my own little thing. How about that? But yeah, I was like, oh, that's right. I did go out for a kayak ride with Mike. That was nice. It was super hot. It was short. I think we were only out for like a half hour or something, but it was nice. Worked up a real nice sweat. Yeah, and I mean that in the not best way ever. Something interesting that I saw over the weekend. Joe and I are in this group page on Facebook for the brand of smoker that he has. My brother had added us to the group when we were thinking about getting the smoker that we now have. So, it's just like a regular, any old group page. People go in there looking for tips on, how to cook stuff and, just talking about the brand and what kind of the best pellets to get, just group stuff. So I saw a post from a guy that put a picture up of his grill, and he said, I'm sorry to say that we've been having some financial difficulties due to the whole COVID situation, and I'm going to have to sell my baby. I just got it a year ago. Does anybody have a suggestion of what I should try to sell it for? Well, these people are like, don't sell it. Don't do it. We'll help you. Set up a GoFundMe page. And some people were saying, you probably get $700 for it. You could probably get $800 for it, what have you. So I figured high ballpark would be, he was counting on getting maybe $800, probably not even that much, for the sale of his grill. So somebody set up a GoFundMe page, and they raised, the last that I saw, and I've not been able to find the page. The last I saw was yesterday, maybe late morning. They had raised $2,400 for this guy. It's kind of crazy. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think he went on there trying to solicit money. Maybe he did. If he did, he's genius because it worked like a charm, and it has him coming out smelling like roses. But that's crazy, like $2,400 for this guy. And I did see a post this morning from him, just with overwhelming gratitude, and saying how he is so grateful for everybody that donated, and that not only now will he be able to save his grill, but the amount of money raised will also help purchase a new crib for the little one that they have on the way, and that he has turned off the donations at this point, and he will not accept any more donations. So he's being very nice in that respect too. So I just think it's funny how these things kind of pop up. It's like, the guy's just like, dude, I'm so sad. I got to sell my grill. What do you think I can get for it? Because we really need the money. And this community just like pulled together. It's like, dude, don't sell your grill. Don't do it. And then other people are like, yo, with the extra money, buy yourself lots of meat so you can keep grilling. I don't know. It's crazy. Seems crazy to me. Moving on to the topic for today. We're talking about ice cream flavors and what your favorite is, because yesterday was National Ice Cream Day. I said that to Joe yesterday. I said, it's National Ice Cream Day. And he goes, again? I'm like, I know. There's like National Ice Cream Day. There's like National Soft Serve Day. There's National Ice Cream Cone Day, probably. It's like National Beer Day and National Burger Day. There's like a million of them. National Pet Day. So I had asked you what your favorite flavor of ice cream is. I have to say I was a little shocked. Did not get a lot of responses for this. I thought this is something that people usually love to chime in on. I have to say, right off the top of my head is probably a vanilla peanut butter flavor that I originally discovered with Dove ice cream. They used to sell it in the pints that you would get like at Wawa or whatever. And it was so good. And they stopped making it. And then Turkey Hill to the rescue. They started making a vanilla chocolate chip. It's so hard. Not chocolate chip. Vanilla peanut butter. Is that what have I been saying chocolate chip all this time? I meant peanut butter. A vanilla with the peanut butter swirled through it. Oh, to die for. And it's so hard to find that in vanilla. The chocolate peanut butter, very prevalent. Everybody has a version of chocolate peanut butter, but nobody has the vanilla peanut butter except for Turkey Hill. So that is my favorite, but I like some of those like combination ones too. Like this weekend we were eating what's it called? The Nutty Buddy. Friendly's has a Nutty Buddy. It's like a Nutty Buddy cone. Have you ever had a Nutty Buddy cone? And it's got like the peanuts in it, and it's like a chocolate-covered sugar cone, and it's got fudge swirls in it, and it's pretty yummy. Like the little bits of sugar cone throughout. Oh, so good. And Breyers has like a waffle cone, like caramel waffle cone or something that I really enjoy too. But we always have to wait for Breyers to go on sale because it's too expensive, and we are cheap. We are cheap. We are cheap because we're poor. So I wanted to hear from you. What is your favorite flavor when it comes to ice cream? Denise says maybe mint chocolate chip. She sounds a little unsure. Beverly, not unsure. Mint chocolate chip. Joe says chocolate peanut butter. Libby says vanilla peanut butter. Yes, a girl after my own heart. Kathy says plain Jane vanilla. That is the number one favorite flavor in this country. Still to this day. I like vanilla if I'm going to have it in a sundae or something. I don't like to have, unless it's soft serve. Love me a soft serve vanilla cone. I'm not crazy about chocolate. But if it's just a regular ice cream, I like to doctor that up with stuff. If I get a sundae, I never get a flavored ice cream with a sundae. I always get vanilla. So Linda says vanilla fudge. Yes, that's good too. Diane says chocolate chip. And Kimberly says strawberry cheesecake. Now, there was a little survey that was put out stating the top favorites in America. Number 1 is vanilla. Number 2 is chocolate. Number 3, cookies and cream. Number 4, mint chocolate chip. Number 5, chocolate chip cookie dough. Number 6, butter pecan or pecan. Number 7, cookie dough. I didn't realize there was a difference between chocolate chip cookie dough and cookie dough. I don't think I see plain cookie dough very often. Number 8 is strawberry. Number 9 is moose tracks. I do enjoy the moose tracks. And number 10 is Neapolitan. So there are some of America's favoriteest ice cream flavors. Moving right along to our blog post of the day, I thought that it might be beneficial to talk about toxic behaviors this week. The first and probably worst is the need to be right. So often we dig in and refuse to admit that we may have been mistaken. And if we are indeed mistaken, then we look pretty foolish after kicking up such a fuss, don't we? This is one I struggled with for a long time, and I still do. Not as bad as I used to, but I still do. I have a need to make sure information is correct. One of my pet peeves is the passing along of inaccurate information, which is why social media makes me crazy at times. I've gotten into arguments with friends over such simple, ridiculous things because of this need I have to make sure information is accurate. I don't necessarily think this is a bad trait. I come from a news background and have been in a position to give information many times in my career. So I take pride in making sure I'm informing in the most accurate way possible. And by the way, the term fake news makes me absolutely bonkers. But sometimes it just isn't that big of a deal. It's better to just let things go. I had an incident with a friend of mine from the neighborhood a few months back. She had posted something on Facebook depicting an excerpt from a book that predicted this pandemic. Now, it was just something that she shared. The quote was from a different book referenced in the post, though. Well, I just pounced on that fact because stuff like that just bothers me. Maybe it shouldn't. Maybe I should just hope that people take what they see on social media with a grain of salt, although that probably is not true. But I argued with this woman over the post. She claimed the name of the book wasn't a big deal. It was about the prediction. I disagreed. I felt if someone can take the time to create a post but can't get the information correct, they shouldn't be making posts claiming truths at all. And if they can't take the time to make sure the name of the book is correct, how true is any of it? But was it worth getting into it with this woman? No, it was silly. Sometimes it's best to just let things go. I actually tortured myself for days because I felt like I made her so mad that she wasn't going to talk to me anymore. It ended up being fine, but tortured myself for days just because I had to be right. Honestly, let it go. Life is short, and the repercussions of arguing over something basically insignificant and the backlash that sometimes follows just is not worth it. Even if you are right, what is the cost of proving that? Are people mad at you? Have you created ill feelings with people that you love? Are you creating a reputation as a smug, obnoxious person? Is this all worth being right? I'll quote one of my favorite Dr. Phil-isms. Do you want to be right or do you want to be happy? Is being right so important that you are isolating yourself from friends and family? To the point that people don't want to deal with you because they are tired of being corrected, lectured, told they are wrong. Is being right worth all of that? Maybe the knowledge that you are right and you know it can be enough. Because whether you argue your point or not, if you are right, you're still right, even if you don't argue it. And you know what is even better than arguing? When someone comes back to you and says, hey, you know what? You were right about that thing we were talking about. Or maybe they won't. Maybe they won't say anything, but they'll remember. They'll remember that you were right. And they may take you a little more seriously next time. I was reading a book on leadership one time, and they were talking about having a dinner with one of the top executives at their company. Now, the person was talking about how he had corrected this executive on something that he was mistaken about. One of his coworkers took him aside after and said, never correct your boss, especially in front of others. And the author was like, but he was wrong. I didn't want him to go around thinking that. His coworker said, so what? Who cares if he thinks that? Because he probably still thinks he's right and you're an ass. Then if he finds out you were right, he'll likely be even more mad. So let them find out on their own. Then they will realize that you were right all along. Or what about those times you weren't right? Now that's humiliating. I had a discussion with a woman from my book club one time about people who hosted the Academy Awards. She talked about one of her favorites being Neil Patrick Harris. Now, I didn't remember him ever doing the Oscars. I knew he did the Tonys all the time. And that is what I said. Or maybe I insisted she was wrong. That could have been it. That could have been why she whipped out her phone and brought up the exact year that Neil Patrick Harris did indeed host the Oscars. Well, don't I feel foolish now? And I will never forget her smugness when she proved herself right. And I still don't really like this woman. The whole thing left a bad taste in my mouth, and I am a grudge holder. Even though I was partly to blame for the whole thing, now I feel even worse because she bested me. Proved me wrong in front of all of my book club. The horror! My point is, we were both wrong in the way we went about it. We both were likely left with unkind feelings about each other, and it just wasn't necessary. I should have just said, oh, I don't even remember him hosting the Oscars, only the Tonys. That's what I should have said. Should have left it at that. Live and learn, people. Live and learn. And when it comes to your family, I hope it goes without saying, it's even more important to keep yourself in check. You could be right all day long and fight about it all day long. Sometimes, just not worth it. It's okay to put forth correct information, but if it isn't met with agreement, then let it go. Just let that shit go. Life is too short, and honestly, it's just not that important. Oh, Monday, how I love thee. It is a brand new week full of possibilities and opportunities. Now go make big things happen and be your badass self. You know, I'm cheering you on.
Thank you for listening to The Hopefulist, hosted by Wendy McClure. For more inspiration, please visit hopefulist.com. Thanks, and we'll see you tomorrow on The Hopefulist.